Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos, brought to you by his website, gtoul.com. Also where you can get his book, Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Dr. Touliatos is also a regular contributor every month to Muscular Development Magazine. It's been a contributor to many other books and magazines. All the way from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Touliatos. How are you, sir?
Hello, Ron. Happy birthday for your 15th anniversary.
Yeah,
Half a century. You don't look that old.
I know,
You
right?
look at least 5 years younger. Yes.
Oh. 5 years? That's all you're going to give me? 5? Give me 10.
10. Yes. And your body looks 25.
Yeah, there you go. It
Yeah.
feels 75 sometimes, but
Yeah.
you know,
Same here. Same here. Yes.
that's what happens when you lift weights.
Wish all the best for your career and to your family,
Thank
and
you.
enjoy. And it was on Saturday, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
So now I'm officially 50. It's a couple days past. I can't even. My birthday weekend's over. I got to get back to the real world now. So, how old are you, Doc? How old are you?
46.
You're just a young guy. You're just a young guy.
Yeah,
Wait
4
till
years
wait,
younger.
till- wait till you're 50. Now that's really up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel more rusty.
Cool. All right, Doctor. We have this is episode 29.
Yes.
This week we got 4 questions. It's a little shorter, a little sweeter episode. We're gonna get right to the point. Let's see what we got for questions. Question 1 is, what is your opinion on TRT for a man in his 20s for life? Is there anything bad he should expect? I know no magic bullet, but can we safely put a young man on TRT if he's under the lab ranges? Clomid and HCG have failed. So this guy's only in his 20s.
Well, at any age, in order to start replacement therapy, you need to have either primary or secondary hypogonadism. I have refused from guys who are eugonadic within range, and their hypophyses are active, which is LH and FSH, the gonadotropins. And even though their testosterone is at low range of 350, 400, we can boost this with a post-cycle therapy protocol, introducing HCG and serums afterwards, plus a specific lifestyle without using certain drugs like cortisone, like opiates, like marijuana, alcohol, also sleep night, and then we can introduce supplementation like maca, triple ZMA, D-aspartic acid, creatine monohydrate. And these four weeks of the post-cycle therapy, get the most out of it and see where it goes. But introducing somebody into testosterone and other androgens like DHT or DHEA, simply it shuts off your own production. So it's a shame when still there's natural production of testosterone, and we shut off this because it's for life. If we start introducing testosterone, there is a homeostatic mechanism that shuts off. This happens with all hormones: cortisone, thyroid hormones, testosterone, steroid hormones. So we have to be very careful, because this is a very important decision, and it has to be, it's for life, basically. So unless there is no laboratory work that justifies this along with clinical symptoms, there's no need. Now, we can use Clomid monotherapy that will have horrible side effects to the mood, and mainly also maybe will be risky for clotting, because Clomid works both estrogenic and antiestrogenic. I think the best thing is to use HCG and afterwards serums, so Clomid and Nolvadex, tamoxifen and clomiphene citrate, and see how it goes. There are some people who, like students, for instance, stay up all night and don't have a regular sleeping time, that their testosterone is about to drop, but it can improve according to the lifestyle. So we can improve these labs, and of course it's too early. Now, in case we have brain trauma in the hypophysis, or we have other symptoms like Kalman or Klinefelter, there is a damage in the brain and there's no production, then of course this is obligatory to introduce into hormonal replacement therapy for life.
See, this guy, my suspicion, he didn't give us a lot of information.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish we had more info, because I bet he's not giving himself enough time Because I find it very hard to believe that a guy who's only in his 20s
Yes.
was abusing steroids enough that he shut off his production permanently. I really doubt that.
When you are so young, you have this benefit that your axis will catch up because you're younger and your system reacts better. And of course, you have to stay away of gear at least 6 months in order to see how it goes. The problem is that will this guy decide that he will never touch stairs again? This is the dilemma. So basically, PCT improves you between the two cycles, this period when you're supposed to crash. So it improves your libido and perhaps sometimes how you can recover from workouts.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you do repeated cycles every year, then eventually at your early 40s or late 30s, you may realize that it's inevitable to be able to recover.
Right.
So I gave myself 30 weeks. I almost waited 7 months and I realized that my total testosterone was 150. There's no hope to recover. Yes, and I was a sexually active bachelor. I was a guy who lifted at the gym. My lifestyle justified the use of testosterone. Plus, if you don't do it, then in the long term, you start having obesity, metabolic syndrome, insulin-resistant diabetes, anemia, osteopenia, all these things that comes to the hypogonadism, depression also, which is a big factor, erectile dysfunction. So yes, it goes downhill.
So you talked about you waited seven months.
7 months, yes, yes.
I mean, I waited.
I was told to wait for 1 year. The point is, in 1 year, I'm not sure I'm going to recover, and life would be horrible. Waiting more. I was ready to jump out of the window. I was so desperate. Yes.
I mean, I was in my late 30s before I went on TRT, and I waited over a year, and I kept having my blood checked, and it didn't get over 200. It was like 220, 230.
For some people who live a sedentary life, this may be enough.
Yeah, it wasn't
for me. They don't lift. Yes, it's up to the person also, but that low, I mean, it's a shitty life.
Yeah, I agree.
You feel castrated.
All right, next question is, Dr. Rand says up to 600 milligrams of testosterone is safe to use. Does this mean we could blast this till the day we die if we don't get estrogen and RBC related issues? Or will the long term still catch up to us and cause things like LVH?
I think this is a lot. 600 milligrams is over half a gram. So what I think, in my humble opinion, that 250 is the dose where you start having issues with estradiol and hematocrit also in the long term, okay? And also LVH is a matter of weightlifting as well. If you follow high intensity by heavy lifting or short intervals, basically a hardcore bodybuilder will develop either from the way he trains LVH along with gear. Testosterone may be not just itself to contribute to LVH, but anabolic steroids will. But what we should be aware of is erythrocytosis and aromatization. I believe 250 are fair enough once a week, okay?
Yeah.
And perhaps more testosterone will also decrease HDL, because this is also a fact. And as I told to Thomas O'Connor, if he agreed, if we have to use aromatase inhibitors more frequently than once a week, for instance, 2 milligrams per week of Arimidex, this will further lower HDL. So it comes a circle, more estrogens, more aromatase inhibitors that will lower HDL, either from the aromatase inhibitor, either from testosterone itself. So testosterone, even though it's not a toxic compound to the liver or to dyslipidemia, it may lower HDL in a bit. 10 digits perhaps. Some people are blessed to have an HDL over 40, close to 50, other not. So I believe 250. Now, blasting testosterone, yes, it may be 500 or 1,000 during a cycle, but I believe that the most reasonable cruising is 250. This is what in the 15 years ago, Dorian Yates was here for a seminar, and he roughly said that he was using 1 ml of testosterone ethate or sustanon per week, which was 250, which I believe is fair enough for his body mass index, you know.
Yeah, geez, he's a big dude.
But 600 is a lot. 600 and some people cycle. Okay, they even cycle more, but I guess this is a lot.
Yeah.
With 600, you're gonna need 2 milligrams of arimidex, I recommend, and 1 phlebotomy every 2 months.
Wow. But even so, nobody could really sustain 600 milligrams of testosterone a week indefinitely without some serious issues eventually. Would you agree?
Yes, in the long term, this is becomes gradually all the effects are added, you know, and so yes, after a couple of months, you're gonna face some facts.
Yeah. You know, we have a saying here in the USA called "There's no free lunch."
Yes, Conor said that. Yes, there's no free lunch.
No free lunch. All right. Here we go. I don't know anything about these peptides. I hope you do. Could you speak about peptide TB500 and BPC157? I tore my tricep tendon partially, and I don't want to have a surgery. Are there peptides that can heal torn muscles or torn tendons?
Well, mainly it's more important for the joints and the tendons and the collagenous fibers of connective tissue. Thymosin B500 is one of them. It's very popular. Bodybuilders have tried after they tore the triceps, for instance. And of course, you need a surgical procedure to attach the tendon to the bone.
I did that.
But you've done that?
I had a torn. I tore my tricep years ago. Yeah.
Oh, so you were operated?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. And now we use this TB50, 500, all the other, which is quite similar peptide, in order to enhance the healing process and the recovery, but mainly to the tendons, which consist of collagenous fibers of connective tissue. Now, collagen, of course, is made of protein. We need also hyaluronic acid, collagen, lysine, proline, in order to feed the tendons. You know, growth hormone is also very important because IGF-1 has chondroblastic activity. That means chondroblasts are these kind of cells that make new cartilage. And that's why it's very important. And also, you can use along with them vitamin C, that is responsible of collagen synthesis, ascorbic acid.
Yeah.
And now about the muscle, I guess that in order to make up new muscle fibers, we use IGF-1 in connection to mechanogrowth factor, MGF. They both act locally in the muscle. And supposedly, as we said in the previous episode, they can form new myocytes, new cells, muscle cells, and perhaps where is in a certain place, which is, for instance, if you tore one of your pecs, you may inject MGF and IGF-1 in the one in order to heal faster and catch up related to the other pec.
Yeah.
But the other two peptides we mentioned is just for the tendons mainly and the ligaments.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I can tell you, I'm not an orthopedic surgeon, obviously, but I know that they will only operate if the tear is past a certain point. So he didn't say what percentage. It has to be, I know, at least 50%.
Yes, true. There is partially, cut, and there is a whole rupture.
Right.
So when it's partially, it doesn't need to be operated, but it has to be fed and healed properly.
Right.
But if it's complete, of course, it needs a surgical procedure. Sometimes the muscle is not detached from the tendon, but in the flesh, in the muscle belly.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of operation.
Like Jay Cutler tore his bicep right in the middle of the bicep head.
Quite many people have here the torn pec. As they do the negative, the eccentric, it cracks. Yes.
Yeah. I believe Dorian's muscle tear, I believe his bicep was also torn not at the origin. It's much more difficult to reattach to repair that type of tear.
I have seen quite many guys that the biceps comes over here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a mouse. It's nasty, eh?
It's terrible. It's an ugly look. especially when you're trying to win the Olympia again. So,
Yeah.
last question for you, Dr. T. After a cutting cycle, will adding Nolvadex help improve my lipid profile? I've read that non-aromatizing compounds wreak havoc on the lipids.
They mean harsh on the lipids?
Yeah, so he did a cutting cycle.
Yeah.
And now he wants to add, his cycle is over. He wants to use Nolvadex to improve his lipid profile because...
He has a point on that. Why? Because SERMs and tamoxifen, for instance, they act estrogenically in the liver. Now, in the liver, we know that the lipoproteins are made, HDL and LDL, and it's promising that tamoxifen can lower LDL and total cholesterol by this fact. But I also suggest to use other factors like statins, or also red rice yeast, phytosterols, resveratrol, astaxanthin, EFAs, pure Mediterranean diet, and stay away from saturated fat and trans fat. But also, it's true that the non-aromatizing compounds, they are perhaps more nasty on the lipid profile because there is a lack of estrogens. Unlike the aromatizing compounds where estrogens are friendly to the lipids. So this was an old guess of mine. While maybe Dianabol will be better than Winstrol on the lipid profile because of the estrogens that are produced, that will be heart protective. Unlike stanozolol, that is a DHT derivative, and there is no estrogen production, so no protection to the lipids. And this was a thought that I had. Maybe the bulking off-season cycle are more heart protective than the cutting, where there is no estrogen productions, plus the abuse of aromatase inhibitors in order to stay extra lean. So yes, this was a thought that I had, and maybe it has a point.
So probably, it sounds like based on that theory, the more times you do cutting cycles, the more danger you're probably doing to your lipid profile, and that means in turn to all your blood vessels and all that, your heart.
I guess so. And also there was another paper from PubMed that says too much of aromatase inhibitors will be harsh on the endothelium. Endothelium of the arteries is a different organ that produces 30 or more different chemicals. And as long as the endothelium is smooth, there's no clotting effect. Nicotine and smoking disrupt the endothelium, and makes more aggressive. And if it's more aggressive, for instance, all the platelets will come and form a clot. So the lining of the arteries is very important. As we know, the cholesterol plaques over here attach, and occluded we have the stenosis, and no blood flow, no oxygen, and all the nutrients. So when I say to people, it doesn't matter how you look, but what you eat. For instance, if you eat junk and you take tons of steroids and you still have a six-pack, the problem is that you mess up with your blood vessels. So I see sometimes people after a show, they want to enjoy the victory by eating pizza or burgers.
Yeah.
But it's already their vessels are damaged from the steroid use. Now add this, the saturated and trans fat and the refined sugar. This is an atomic bomb. So I prefer to have a healthy meal after the show with a larger quantity. And believe that eating junk doesn't matter if you're still lean. The point is that you damage yourself inside. This is the problem.
I mean, I don't know too many bodybuilders that go for a big clean meal after a show. Yeah, everyone goes pizza, Cheesecake Factory. Yeah.
Yes, they want to credit. They want to satisfy and
Absolutely.
How you say to.
You've been craving all these junk foods for 16 weeks or more.
Yes.
Pizza, cookies, ice cream, God knows what else.
It's not a good idea because the damage is already produced by the drugs. So it's better to eat 2 pounds of salmon, for instance, or sweet potato instead of fries and having something fried.
Wow. Well, that's what you used to do after your shows?
No, well, in the beginning, no. But as I age, I become wiser, and At my last show, I ate frozen yogurt.
Okay, not too bad.
It was 2 pounds of frozen yogurt. But I remember in my first show that I won, I ate a pizza, as everybody did. Yes, and afterward, I was bloated from the sodium, from the salt, and I gained the following days 5 pounds easily of water retention. Yeah.
What's your record? How much weight have you gained in a week after a show?
7 kilograms was 15 pounds.
Okay, I can beat that. 25 pounds.
Floated.
People
cannot wear their shoes. How can you believe that?
Dude, your ankles are like, I know people have gone to the emergency room because of the edema and the blood pressure just from the salt and the water retention.
I was hospitalized to the emergency room because of dehydration.
Yeah.
And when I managed to win for the second time, I was using Aldectone and I was eating a lot of carbs. So my large intestine was kind of paralyzed.
Wow.
You call it ileum, yes. And they inject me a certain chemical that was able to give motility to my intestine,
So you could go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Geez, otherwise life would have been really painful for a while. Oof.
Yes, and also diuretics gave me a cramp to the abdominal muscle. It was horrible.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I wanted to the toilet to use it, and I couldn't stand up.
Wow. Yeah, one time, I haven't used a lot of diuretics, but I remember the last time I used them in 2013. It was just Diazide. My foot, it curled up like a claw, and I couldn't get it to unbend. My foot was like this. It was the weirdest.
See, also clenbuterol does the same to the toes, the fingers, cramps.
Yeah, rough times. All right. Well, doctor, I think we didn't get a lot of questions because of the Olympia. Everyone was still all excited about the Olympia. So, guys, the Olympia's over. We just had Rolly Winkler win a show in Italy. Let's move on and get some really good questions. You can put them on musculardevelopment.com, Noble Forum. There's a sticky thread called Questions for Dr. T, or you can leave them in the comments right under this video. Doctor loves nice, challenging questions. He's here to help. We're very grateful to have his knowledge and expertise. So please leave us some good questions for next week, guys. Yeah, that's all. Doctor, thank you so much. It was, again, I know we said this last time, but it was so cool to finally meet you. And, real life is different. Real life.
We'll set an appointment at the Arnold Classic in 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, the Arnold Classic. Absolutely. Much different time over there. Different feel. Vegas and Columbus, Ohio, two very different places, as you know. So, all right. I want to encourage everyone one more time. Go to his website, gtool.com, gtoul.com. Pick up your copy of Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Also available on Amazon.com. And we look forward to you guys' questions for next time. Dr. George, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you guys next week.